Now I started another thread. Oh, this is about support. I'm going to skip that. How do you get money for... If you have a new idea, then you might have a problem because you can't get the university or the government to support it. Fortunately, there are a lot of rich people who are crazy. So the way to get a support for a new idea is to find a businessman who has been successful and see if you can convince that person to support you. And they have to be pretty rich, but if you have a new idea, then committees will stop it. But independent individuals might help. And that's how Beethoven and Mozart got to write their stuff. They didn't get a committee to give them a music fellowship. Each of them, fortunately, a lot of the princes and political people liked music. And Mozart or Bach or Beethoven would play something and they'd say, that's really good. Why don't you write some for me? In a small number of cases, you have to write it secretly and they pretend they wrote it. And I have a friend who's a good composer, and he spent a lot of time writing a symphony for another person who wasn't good at that. But I won't tell you either of their name. But it happens. Oh, so that's repeated. I didn't edit this because I collected it last night. Here's the most important piece of advice at all. And I started to say it. Suppose you meet somebody who seems very smart. I was very fortunate when I was a student because I met Claude Shannon and John von Neumann, and I was at Harvard and there were all these great mathematicians. They weren't there, but I met a young mathematician named Andrew Gleason, who was maybe the best mathematician in the world in a certain kind of topology. Okay, so you meet somebody and you say, oh, I wish I could do that. What should you do? Should you ask the person to teach you topology? No. What you should do is you follow the person around, you make friends with them. It's hard to do that unless you can do something useful. The other day, several people came and asked me for my autograph. What I learned from Richard Feynman was you shouldn't talk to those people, but maybe you should tell them, I would have given you wouldn't it be better to ask me a question? And you've lost your opportunity, and I won't give you an autograph either. But Richard Feynman did things like that. Okay, so when you meet somebody you admire, try to figure out, don't have them tell you the conclusion. Try to watch him work, or her. Try to find out how they think. And that's why I'm lucky. For some reason, when I was young, and I met somebody, I didn't try to learn what they know. I'd say, I met Warren McCulloch. He was a pioneer of cybernetics. And he was grand. Whatever question came up, he would make it very important. If he had an idea and was going to give a lecture, he was giving a lecture to a little meeting of 10 psychologists. And I went with him. But before that, he said, I have this new idea, and I'm going to tell the psychologists. You see what he did? He was telling all the psychologists in the world. You could say he was psychotic, delusion of grandeur. But everything McCulloch did, it was like a king. He's not doing anything small. If he talks to 5 people, he's talking to all the people in the world with that thing. And so I spent 3 years with McCulloch, and he wrote in a certain grand style, which I didn't like, but I learned to see how did he write that way. How did he make this thing so romantic when it was just a little algebra? So that's the thing. If you meet somebody You want to be like them. Don't copy what they do. Copy how they do it. And I don't know how you do that, but I think you can learn it because I think I did.